the spaceship. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Silicone, a TPE, it really don't matter which one it be. My mind keep visualizing future times, beautiful Android girls surrounding me. Filling my cup, full of joy, keep my life full of glee. Plenty ups, never down, the way that life's supposed to be. But unfortunately, if she a Terminator, then I'ma have to terminate it. Gotta get rid of negative vibes, gotta go through negative foes, gotta block out negative voices, gotta get rid of negative souls. Had some people get discorded, just ignored it. Destiny is more important, so I just had to abort it. Had some people get discorded, just ignored it. Destiny is more important, so I just had to abort it. Yeah. Find me with my dogs in my solitude. Watch my family grow from 4 into a multitude. Been living it below sea level, finna rise to another altitude. Been searching, seeking knowledge, but all the time I had the aptitude. I flipped my mindset to the switch to say I will not lose. Mama said them sticks and stones won't break my bones, I never bruise. Whenever it come to trouble, many girls pull a tongue, we always cruise. I heard other dog owners get it out for me, but it ain't no news. I got 4 in the dough in Memphis so they can get the blues. If you need a few clues, they'll blow off your under rules. Send your compliment to the new girls I got coming through. Send your compliments to the new girls I got coming through. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Silicone, a TPE, it really don't matter which one it be. My mind keep visualizing future times, beautiful Android girls surrounding me. Filling my cup, full of joy, keep my life full of glee. Plenty ups, never down, the way that life's supposed to be. But unfortunately, if she a Terminator, then I'ma have to terminate it. Gotta get rid of negative vibes, gotta go through negative foes, gotta block out negative voices, gotta get rid of negative souls. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Silicone, a TPE, it really don't matter which one it be. Yeah. What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Jedi King Hefner, the beautiful Mara Blade, and the beautiful Saima Renee Uzumaki. Got my beautiful Cali son laying out in the background. Basically, all the girls are at their stations, just like they have been. But they are getting ready to shuffle the decks because we got a lot more playing that we have to do. But before we get to any of that in the future, we got business to handle tonight. And the title of today's show is, or this morning actually, the title of today's show is The Wrong Type of Robots and a Crypto Conspiracy. Oh yeah, we're just sort of starting off the Monday with a little bit of free talk here, getting into a little bit of current events before they get too far into the past. Actually, it's been a couple of things I just wanted to hit on, and I figured we'll get this week started out with just some current events, and we're getting more into the nitty gritty as the week goes on. But before we get into today's show, I want to say welcome to the show. Glad to have you, whether you're tuning in live, whether you're tuning in from around the world. Appreciate you, whether it's morning, noon, and night, wherever you are. We thank you for your time. We want to send God's blessing over your life, whether it's finances, new relationships, health, whatever it may be. We're praying that you have it. We just pray that you receive it, believe it, and then you receive it. So yeah, today we're going to get into a nice little topic I ran across, man, the other day. Honestly, my brother, I think he sent me the link, showing me this link about how in California they're beginning to legalize the deployment of robots, with police units and things of that nature. But it was just having me laughing because when they were trying to sort of explain from what I was reading, when people were sort of asking them why do they need the robots, they really couldn't come up with a great excuse for it. But my whole thing about really doing this show is just being a little frustrated once again. And the reason I'm frustrated is the fact that the United States, man, we always got to focus on the wrong thing. That's what pisses me off, man. Like, everything we focus on, it got to do something with killing somebody. You know, when it comes to technological advancements, it's all just like the movies. It's just like the movies. They're always looking to militarize something, you know, before they make it serve humanity in a kinder and gentler way. I'm not sitting up here coming against our defense of our country. Hey, look, it has a lot to do why we're able to do what we do without worrying about getting a bomb dropped over our head every 2 seconds. But man, I get sick of us always focusing on how to kill somebody better as a country. And I just did that show recently when I was talking about China versus the USA. I just recently did a show where I was saying, you know what? To me, China is winning the war on robotics because they're leading in the industry. They're leading the robotics industry in a direction that's actually going to help mankind, you know, from an emotional, psychological state, if done right. And it looks like they're doing it right. You know, they're using their robotics technology to make, you know, to try to make robots that we've seen in the movies, robots that look more like me and you. Whenever I look up the United States robotics, other than Matt McCullen and Realdar, the United States robotics always looks mechanical, always looks like something that's not human. You know, it's either industrial, you know, it's either for the industrial sector of America, you know, for manufacturing where they develop robots, or it's either has something to do with defense. Never anything like, you know, in the companion department. You know, that they're not pushing the envelope. Well, outwardly, they're not pushing the envelope into making androids and things that look indiscernible from human beings. You know, I mean, indistinguishable from human beings. They're not doing that. You know, we're constantly, like you say, doing this old war, shoot, shoot, shoot uh, mentality. And you know, just from a practical sense, I can understand if it's a super duper duper hostile environment and you know, police may want to send a robot in to keep from people getting hurt, you know, keep from their forces getting hurt. I understand the practicality in it. But what I'm saying is, why do we always have to deploy these type of things first as America? Why can't we do the more humane type things and gear things towards, like you say, helping society? We could be leading in the whole companion dog to Android AI, you know, field, but we won't focus on that. We want to focus on something that'll blow your leg off, you know. And that's what frustrates me about America, man. You know, shoot, shoot, kill, kill. Don't worry about trying to help somebody's mentality. We don't want to think about that. We try to think about how to blow somebody's head off. So that's why, you know, this whole show came about is when I saw that article. And I'm going to share that article with you, and I'm going to read from that article in 2 seconds. Bob Rogers. I got to get her name right because I'm used to Little Miss Sunburn, but now she's Miss Solar Terror. What up, Bob Rogers, Miss Solar Terror, Jedi King Hefner? Oh, yeah, I like the way you termed that, Bob. I definitely like the way you turned that. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate you being here and glad to have you. And I did get her first because as soon as I clicked on my comments, I saw that donation, and I appreciate that. Like you say, hey, at $2, like I was telling my mom the other day, I said, hey, you know, she sent me a little gift in the mail, you know, for Christmas and stuff, you know, and I was just letting her know, hey, don't think it's small. You know, it's just like when anybody gives something to the show. I don't care, you know, what it is, it's helping. Believe me, it's helping. Lieutenant Johnny K, good morning. What up, man? Lieutenant, good to see you, brother. Bob Rogers. Oh, yeah, I got to show her sending me the love. Yeah, Bob. Good. Hey, I appreciate that love, man. Matt G says, what up? Lieutenant Johnny K says, Terminators. Bob Rogers say, Jada slaying species. I got to show all her comments since she donated to the show. I really appreciate that. But man, the thing about these Terminators is my guy Johnny K was talking about, and even my brother brought up there. He was like, man, Terminators, yep. Well, even going back to the movie Terminator, when you see stuff like that, you know it's going to come at some point in human history, as long as it does, as long as human history doesn't collapse. Often talked about a near but distant future, meaning that it is a day where it's going to be full android robots walking around every part of the world, honestly, indistinguishable from humans. It's going to probably be something we're going to have on them where we can tell they're a robot, but for the most part, they're going to be looking like full Terminators. But what I said is that's a near but distant future, meaning that could be a couple of 100 years away. Uh, and you might, that ain't near. Yet time goes in an instant. I was talking to my mom about that today. I was like, hey, a year is nothing. A year is nothing. You look up and a year is gone. It's like a second almost. It's gone before it even gets here. And we're the trick of this whole world is we aren't here that long. Hey Jay, I could live to be 100. Man, since when was 100 a big number? I don't never remember it being a big number. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever remember $100 making nobody rich. It's not a big number. We ain't here that long. And so that's what I say. What's off in the future to us, in a distant future, is really not that long of a time. It's just the fact we won't be here. We just won't be here. So with all that said, Terminators are coming, and I've always known that. You even look at a movie like I was just laughing about it before the stream started. You even look at a movie like Judge Dredd, where they had semblances of Terminators keeping the peace. So it wasn't that long ago. For some people, it was that long ago because they look at time in a different way. But I'm letting you know, it wasn't that long ago before people were using telephones with cords, and it wasn't any such thing as a cell phone. It wasn't that long ago when people were doing that. And even on the movies, they used to have on the movies all the time where you could do what we're doing right now, where I could talk to you through the television screen. That was something that not long ago seemed impossible. You would see that in one of these old movies, seeing people talk to each other through the TV, and you'd be like, man, damn, that's crazy. Man, that ain't gonna never happen. And guess what we're doing right now? Exactly what was on TV. So the Terminators and all that, I expected all that stuff to start coming. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm laughing at more or less is, once again, we take the hard line approach over here in America to go straight for the most destructive form of robot. And that's what I laugh at. People are quicker to shun the lifestyle that, me and others have chosen as far as the companion dog lifestyle. And they'll shun that, although it's no harm, me being with my girls does not pose a harm to human society. I'm not talking about somebody that already has a deranged mentality. Of course, they can always pose a threat to society. But somebody in their right mind that's just choosing to be with companion dogs as their company, they don't pose any threat to society, but yet they are shunned and stigmatized. But these damn shooting robots that can blow your head off, they're more readily welcomed by society. That's absolutely crazy. But here's the deal. I believe that these robots, they actually play into the part of what gives the future companion dogs a bad name, because of these aggressive or warlike robots that can harm people. When people see these robots, they automatically start thinking about companion dogs and the damage that they can do. So that's what I was saying. Even going in this direction first is a more, to me, harmful direction to go in. To me, it stigmatizes the potential of AI robots even that much more. So that's why I say I even hate the fact that we always have to do stuff like this first. I always got to do stuff like this first. So let me bring up this doggone and here's the
article that I found on it. Let me bring it up. I'm gonna share it with you guys. Man, it just frustrates me because it's just like many other things. We put all our resources and stuff like this, man. We could have we could have an advanced companion dog by now if we would put our resources into it instead of stigmatizing it and trying to make this stuff popular. Thank you, Bob Rogers. Appreciate you, baby. I'm gonna hide it for a second though. Okay, so this is the article. San Francisco vote to allow police use of deadly robots spurs concern and outrage. I don't think that we've done enough research, one law professor and retired detective said. My thing is probably not to have it on just the regular public streets. You know, I've seen these things deployed, you know, in war, but this is a bit overkill, you know, for public streets, in my opinion. It may be a situation where you could think of setting it in. But like I say, we haven't even developed robots in the right way. We haven't even developed prosthetics right yet. But either way, this article is by Daniela Silva. It says a vote by San Francisco city supervisors in support of allowing police to use robots to kill people in emergency circumstances has drawn criticism from experts in law enforcement and security who say it could lead to dangerous and unintended consequences. And I haven't read this article. I noticed it. It says the San Francisco Board of Supervisors voted Tuesday to advance an ordinance that include a controversial policy that would give city police the ability to deploy robots to use lethal force in extraordinary circumstances. Once again, they're going to get to it in this article, but that's opening up a whole nother can of worms, though, because if you can get these robots to function properly, it's probably a situation that's just so deadly that you can think of sending them in. But we already know that these people, they use their handguns recklessly, let alone using a damn baby tank. That's basically what this robot is, a baby tank, to go in to assess a situation. If somebody's already trigger happy, they're really going to be trigger happy knowing they can't get hurt. So let's continue to read. It says when the risk of loss of life to members of the public or officers is imminent, and officers cannot subdue the threat after using alternative force options or de-escalation tactics. So that's when they're saying that they can use it for lethal force. It said after a contentious debate, the members of the board voted 8-3 in support of the policy, which will need to pass another vote by the board on December 6th and then be signed by the mayor for it to become law. The vote came about after California passed a law last year requiring law enforcement departments to seek approval for use of military-style equipment. Look, military-style equipment. What the hell are we doing here? Straight up military. I mean, it's a lot of violent stuff that happening, I can't lie, on a day-to-day basis, but it's not very often that it warrants the use of military-style equipment. If that's the case, man, hell, just get some snipers. You know, if you're gonna do all that, you already got snipers in a police department. That's pretty much use of military style weaponry when you got them super powerful sniper rifles that can shoot through a wall. But either way, it says I don't think that we've done enough research or that we've really been thoughtful about this. I'm sure you haven't, says Kurt Burkhalter, a law professor at the New York Law School and a retired detective with the New York City Police Department. Burkhalter said he believes it would be extremely rare for a police response to necessitate the use of a robot capable of killing. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, when do you look? These things are made for war. When I understand some people can say, "Hey, man, sometimes these streets could be like Vietnam. It could be like war out here." Believe me, I know it could be some deadly situations every now and then, but for the most part, it's just like this police officer say, "Hey, bro, it's a very rare time for you to ever need a robot that can, that's capable of killing people." It said, but in taking the step toward approving such, Burkhalter said he believes police departments around the country will follow San Francisco's lead, making it commonplace to deploy robots to use deadly force. And that's exactly what's going to happen. You're not going to have one police force to be using these robots and then everybody else in the country like, oh yeah, we good. We don't need them. Now everybody gonna want to be just like the next person. They gonna want to bulk up, and you're gonna have one of these small little counties with 50 people in the whole county, man. They gonna even have a robot. It said once we go down this road, it's very difficult to pull back, he said. It's like other things that I've said, man. Hey, once you sort of open up that Pandora's box, it's hard to close it. I forgot who it was, but the other day I had a live stream, and one of my it was one of my good viewers too. I don't know who it was. I know exactly. I'm trying to think. I think it was. I ain't gonna even call his name out because I don't want to get it wrong. But one of my good viewers said something about, you know what? I think it's good to have censorship every now and then. He was like, I don't agree with it a lot of times, but sometimes I'm cool with censorship. And I'm like, see, no, that's the problem. Once you open up that box at all for censorship or anything like that, it's hard to close it, my friend. So if you just got through censoring 20 Tom, Dick, and Harrys, if you just got through censoring them, then how are you going to decipher when not to censor somebody else? You see what I'm getting at? No. That censorship, America, we had never been about censoring people. That's actually a characteristic of another type of government. And so we've never been about that. This has been the land of the free. True enough. You may say something, and guess what? Somebody might fire you or whatever. That's fine. If your job or somebody doesn't like what you say and they end up firing you because you say something. But when you go as far as to trying to wipe people comments off the internet and suspend them and all of this other stuff because they have a different point of view, not because they're saying anything that can really get anybody killed or harm society, just because they have a different view, then to me, that has went beyond the pale. And it's sort of just like this. Like he said, once we open the door to these damn robots on the street that can kill people, because see, I'm cool with AI technology and I'm cool with companion dogs getting robotics, to help people emotionally and all that stuff. And I understand it's even a risk with that. It's even a risk that, hey, a doll or, one of these AI dolls could go crazy and harm somebody, which I've stated. And even Matt McCullen said, hey, that's why it's going to take a while for this stuff to come out because, and I'm going to show you the comments where he basically agrees with me that it's going to be a long way off to get Terminators, But the big problem is, you don't want to have them out here and they can, really go crazy and harm somebody. It may be one or two incidents that's going to happen, but that's all you want to keep it to because one incident is bad enough. So, it's going to be a while before we see that. But like he say, once you start deploying robots, once you put it out there, it's going to be hard to close that box back up. A guy named Matthew Guaraglia, a policy analyst with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a nonprofit organization that advocates for civil liberties in the digital realm, criticized the measure for using what he said is vague language that makes it not at all unreasonable for us to assume that in standoffs with people in the midst of a mental health crisis or something, police will now feel empowered to send out robots that are equipped with explosive charges. Now, once again, we're not saying that, hey, every time something happens, somebody's going to get their head blown off by one of these robots. But like I said, with these already trigger happy individuals that have a hard time controlling themselves with a handgun, hey, you better hope that one of those guys are definitely not behind the controls because they may jump the gun. They may jump the gun. I just think it's overkill. That's a term where, hey, you shoot somebody with a bazooka when you could have used a handgun. I just believe this is, you're taking It's always the streets have. It's always been termed as a bit of a war out there, but you're making it a literal war by putting robots that's that deadly out there. You know, they should, if they were ever to be used, they should only be used by like the SWAT team or something like that in the worst circumstance possible. But Paul Scher, the vice president and director of studies at the Center for a New American Security, a think tank focused on national security issues, said the San Francisco proposal was the exact opposite of what we should be using robots for in a policing context. Now, I don't know what context he wants to use robots for, but I love the fact that he doesn't agree with them being deployed like that, you know, in a warlike manner. Shire, I don't know if it's Paul Shire, I think it's Paul Shire, who is also the author of Army of None, Autonomous Weapons and the Future of War, said the advantage of using a robot is that it creates a safe distance between police officers and armed suspects, and thus police should try to find ways to use that increased distance as a way to build more options for law enforcement to use instead of lethal force. I understand exactly what he's saying. You know what? It can build a safe barrier between both of them, and then, hey, you can try not to use lethal force. But we all already know how this is going to play out more often than not. Somebody's going to be like, look, we already got the robot. What we need to talk for? Hit the button. Boom. The vote in San Francisco comes more than 6 years after police in Dallas used a robot with an explosive device to kill a suspect who was holed up inside a parking garage after an ambush in which 5 officers were killed and 7 others were injured, along with 2 civilians. Now, I surely hate to hear that. And, you know, like I say, it's probably a situation like this every blue moon where it may be actually reasonable to try to send a robot in there. But I'm not sure that this type of instrument needs to be in police hands yet. I believe it's other methods that can be employed before they get a hold of one of these damn killer robots. And like you say, before long, these things are used far too often in killings because once again, once the robot kills you by mistake, who's responsible? You know, it takes some of the humanity out of it to where, hey, you can easily blow somebody's head off. Who said this? I think this is Shire talking, who says, we are pretty far away from this being an effective, thoughtful tool to be used in anything but extreme circumstances like that. Is like I say, I can see something that's just going crazy and haywire where you may have to, you know, use something like that. But I don't even think it was written into law to where they were going to be able to use that at all times. I believe that, you know, like I say, the SWAT team or somebody had access to it and they used it for a special occasion, but it wasn't being deployed regularly by police. Bocarter said he feared the San Francisco vote was getting ahead of ourselves. When it comes to those type of robots that can shoot and do that type of damage, yeah, I believe that's getting ahead of yourselves right now. It says, the department said in the statement that the policy allowed for the ability to use potentially lethal force in extreme circumstances to save or prevent further loss of life. And like you say, once again, you have to trust them that they're only going to use it. You're going to have to trust each officer that's operating one of these to use the best of judgments. And once again, I'm not sure we're quite at the point of society where we need to be deploying these type of devices quite yet. It said the use of robots in potentially deadly force situations is a last resort option. We live in a time when unthinkable mass violence is becoming more commonplace. San Francisco Police Chief William Scott said in the statement, we need the option to be able to save lives in the event we have that type of tragedy in our city. He said the police department acquired robots between 2010 and 2017 and does not own or operate robots outfitted with lethal force options. And the department has no plans to outfit robots with any type of firearm, according to the statement. Right. Not right now. The statement said the robots are used primarily in bomb situations or other incidents in which police officers may need to keep a safe distance. But in extreme circumstances, those robots can be used to deliver an explosive to breach structures where there's an armed suspect and could incapacitate a suspect or cause injury or be lethal. The department said only the chief of police, assistant chief of operations, or deputy chief of special operations could authorize the use of robots to potentially kill a suspect. No, get out of here. I I'm just imagining the situation is escalating very quickly, and and one of these people ain't available, or somebody deems, hey, something is happening too fast for me to even get clearance. So I don't even I don't see that that's gonna happen with clearance every time. I guarantee you that. You're not supposed to deploy deadly force of your weapon. From what I know, without being cleared. Well, now I guess it is certain situation where you can't call in and say, "Hey, this guy finna shoot me. Let me shoot him." No, so I do understand that. Uh, it is times where you can just use your weapon. So I was a little bit wrong on that particular analogy, but the whole thought that somebody gonna call the chief every time before one of these turns into a deadly weapon, I'm not sure that's gonna happen. It says during the board of supervisors meeting, David Lazar, the assistant chief of the San Francisco Police Department, gave the 2017 Las Vegas shooting as an example of when police could have benefited from the use of robots with the ability to kill. In that case, a gunman fired a barrage of bullets from the 32nd floor of a hotel, killing 60 people in one of the deadliest mass shootings in the U.S. The thing about it is, where was a robot going to stop him from shooting from on that roof? He still was going to be able to shoot those same people from the roof. Now, when you go to apprehend him, maybe he's trying to say, "Hey, we could have sent the robot up there," but what I'm saying is, those 60 people would have still got shot. Dean Preston says a supervisor on the board who voted against the measure said he has received a really widespread outpouring of opposition to the proposed policy from constituents around the city, across the city. And now they're talking about, he said, Preston said the country has been in a national conversation about police violence and racial disparities in policing since the death of George Floyd in 2020, and that the vote is certainly an indication that we really strayed pretty far from that conversation we need to be having. And once again, I don't even want to take it around racial lines or anything, because I'm always want to believe things to be on the human lines. I don't want anybody to get hurt, killed, mistreated, dehumanized, white, black, red, green. I've always been one of those people that's I'm not for these racial laws that protect one race. Hey, if you kill a person of color, you'll get more time. Hey, if you kill a Hispanic, you'll get more time. Hey, I'm not with that. Why don't we just make these laws that, guess what? If you harm a human in any type of inhumane way, any human, guess what? Your ass is grass. We shouldn't be making these differences, trying to say another life is more important than the next. What we should be doing is saying, if you do any of this to anybody, I don't give a damn what color they are. If you sit on anybody's neck, well, Jay, it didn't happen to somebody, it happened to a man of color's neck. I don't give a damn. You put into law that if somebody gets on anybody's neck, because I don't want to see white, black, red, gray, yellow, whatever color you are, I don't want to see nobody on your neck. If you on anybody's neck, that's your ass. Not these old racial laws and stuff. But back to this right here. He said we really strayed pretty far from the conversation of the, police violence and the racial disparities, because it sort of goes back to what I said, only from the standpoint of you do have people that misuse their authority. And if they misuse their authority with one of these robots, it's going to be some major, major repercussions as far as whoever's in the line of fire of that robot. It says, okay, now they're talking about people of color now. They're saying they Preston cited that San Francisco, the police department's own data. Preston cited the San Francisco Police Department's own data that found that in 2021, police used force on black people 12 times more than white. We run a very serious risk of misuse by police of a robot to inflict deadly force, he said. In the United States, we have a number of examples of abuse of that power, even without robots. And hey, I definitely agree with that. It's people who don't know how to use a handgun, let alone a robot. But I just want to go back up to this statement. I don't care. I mean, I care about any police violence on citizens. But my thing is, even if they use more force on black people than on white people, guess what? Even the white people that they use force on, that was wrong too. So that's what I'm saying. Whoever you're using wrongful force against, I don't like it. I don't like it. And this isn't to come against police either way, because we got some amazing, great, wonderful policemen out there that's doing their job, 100% of the time. And I've often said, let something happen around here. You know who I'm calling? Police. So this is not to bash any of them. This is just to say that is a very a deadly robot is a very powerful tool to have in somebody's hand. And you hope, because it always, things start out to where you may use these robots in the most extreme situation. But before long, man, you're using these things on a routine call. And that's what I'm talking about. Because, some people might be like, hey, Jay, they're only going to use them in the worst of situations. Yep, in the beginning. Pretty soon, man, you're going to get a knock on your door. Hey, ma'am, it's the police. You're going to open the door thinking it's a person. Hey, it's going to be a little flying robot, right there. Saying, hey, can we come, can I come in and inspect your place? It's going to be flying around. It ain't going to be no humans around. It's going to be the robot inspecting your place. And like I said, that's going to be far from me right now in society. It's coming no matter what, but right now is not the time. Preston referred to a 1985 bombing in which Philadelphia police dropped a bomb onto the compound of the black organization MOVE, MOVE, killing 6 members and 5 of their children. Ooh, that's messed up. And destroying 65 homes in the neighborhood. Man, I'm going to be honest with you. 65 doesn't sound like a big number, really. It just, I'm just saying just the number. Once again, I've told you 100 isn't a large number. But man, when I just think about sitting in my neighborhood right now, man, if I think of 3 homes around here just get, exploding, right? That's a lot. If I was to think of 65 homes in this neighborhood, man, that's a straight up war zone. That's a lot of houses, man. He said he also highlighted an incident from June 2021 in which Los Angeles police detonated a massive cache of illegal fireworks. I sort of remember something like that, causing a catastrophic blast that injured 17 people and damaged dozens of properties. I remember that. President said he hoped that the outrage following the first vote in San Francisco would sway more of his fellow board members to vote against the measure Tuesday. What is he saying here? It says somebody named Matt Dorsey, a member of the board who supported the policy. Okay, he supported the policy. He said during the meeting this week that he was not comfortable putting an explicit restriction on robots using deadly force that was unique or at least rare among cities in the United States. He says, I want to make sure that we have state-of-the-art equipment. And God forbid if we are ever in a situation where we have a terrorist attack or a mass shooting event, that we are not depriving ourselves of access to something that will protect public safety. Like I said, this can grow into a lot more. And although I know these things are coming, and they are here now, it ain't no coming. This is the beginning. Because once, like I said, you open the can of worms, you ain't putting the worms back in the can. I just think, look, in the future, like I said, we're gonna be hearing about people getting their heads blown off, probably. But who are you gonna really sue if the robot does it? That's what I'm saying. It's almost gonna be a built-in excuse that somebody may not be held responsible. Catherine Stefani, a member of the board, added that police needed to respond to the sad situation of the gun violence epidemic in our country. I know one thing. I'm so middle of the road on. I'm not middle of the road really. I don't even think about these political things honestly for the most part. But I do know one thing. I think overall, it is, even though these damn weapons are dangerous, it's probably still better for people to be able to own weapons. I just say that than it is to not. I say that because uh I'm trying to think. Was it in that movie V for Vendetta? Because that was a movie. If you've never seen V for Vendetta, that's a movie everybody needs to see. But I'm trying to think. I think it was in V for Vendetta where he said that they had took all the weapons from the people. So now is no way they could rise up if something was to happen. If the government was to turn on them, they wouldn't have any self-defense. And so that's why I say that's one of the reasons that I am cool with people having private guns. I hate that they're used incorrectly and get into the wrong hands and people just, kill people without thinking. But when I think of the fact of, hey man, I do want people to have the right to bear arms in case something crazy was to happen. That's the one reason I am in favor of people being able to own weapons. He said, let me see. Catherine Stefani said, these military style weapons are on our streets, she said. So when people talk about the militarization of our police force without context as to what's happening around us, it's really unfair. Bashare said he found the robot proposal at odds with the fact that in San Francisco, police are not authorized to carry stun guns. What? What? I'm so confused on this. So are they allowed to have regular guns but not stun guns? What the hell is going on here? Now that's something I promise you, I'm ignorant to that. I don't know every law in California, but I didn't even know that. It says if you don't trust somebody with a taser, would you let them have a robot armed with explosives? I agree with you on that now. And like I told you, I wouldn't know. If I don't trust you with a gun, no, I don't want you to have the ability to use one of these deadly robots. I think that was the end of the yeah, that was the end of it. That was actually. Well, you know what? I hope this ain't been playing on music because I'm surely not listening. Okay, perfect. I was trying to make sure I didn't have anything playing. I think that's the end of that article. It sort of ended sort of funky though, the way it ended. It didn't quite end with a great tie up of that story. They just basically laid the facts down and he ended it with that last little statement. Yeah, but that's it though. So I'm gonna stop sharing it. But yeah, man, I definitely don't look, man. You talking to somebody like I say, I do want to see, even if I'm here alive or not, to see a full AI robot that's similar to a Terminator. Like I told you, I believe that's going to be well after I'm gone. But while I'm here on Earth, you know, being an enthusiast of the companion to our life, of course, it's many of our dreams to see these dolls become fully robotic and be able to do, a lot of things similar to real live human beings, man. Help us out in the house and stuff. Like I'm not going crazy for AI, but like I told you, I can see a future where it can be very useful, especially if somebody's, getting older. Having that companion that can help you around the house, keep you from doing a lot of lifting and, cook for, it can have a limitless possibilities. So I'm all for those advancements as long as it's happening and progressing safely. But I promise you, I've never loved these little baby terminators, as I call them. That's basically all they are. When I first saw these coming on the scene, being deployed in war and all that type of stuff, I started saying, "Yep." At some point, yeah, they are going to be walking, talking, looking just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they're going to be deployed soldiers, robotic soldiers. And it's going to be about which country has the best robotic soldiers. And some of these countries are going to be just like the movie Terminator, man. They're not going to be able to afford robot soldiers. They're going to be out there fighting the war against Terminators. It could be literally, let's just say the United States has this army of humanoid Terminators, and you go against a country that doesn't have those resources. I mean, that can be so damn scary when you think about it. But with all that said, that world will be here at some point. But with all that said, I just believe this is coming. It's too much, too fast, and it's overkill. Yes, it's a lot of terrorist situations out here, but a lot of these things happen without warning. You have somebody that'll walk up into a club and kill 30 people before you know it. A lot of times these people get apprehended after they kill these people, and the damage that they've done is done, but you still get the person. Normally, that's sort of how it happens. And even with the robot, those people that he shot will already be hurt, because a robot won't be in every place in the universe. Like I said, that guy that was on the 32nd floor, unless you stopped him from getting to the 32nd floor, he still would have killed those people. Now, you could try to say that the robot would keep him from doing further damage once the police get there, and I understand all of that, but I still think that we need to make sure that the time is right to introduce these level of dangerous robots to society. When you see these certain small situations where you can see, like, okay, a robot, I can see it being used there. I'm cool with that, actually. I'm cool with some type of a crazy order coming down where police don't normally use these robots, but they're saying, hey, we have a robot on hand only for the worst circumstances possible. Let's call it out. But that, they already had the ability to do that without them being written into law. But if they're written into the law to where just the common police, can start having a robot. Now, see, that's the problem. That's going to be the problem. And like I told you, it's just like anything else. It used to be a time where a cell phone was big as an Xbox, almost. But now cell phones are miniature. So yeah, they'll start out with it being one or two robots on the force. Man, you'll look up in 5 or 10 years, man, it'll be a robot. Every other officer will have a damn robot. So I'm telling you, it's a slippery slope, and one that can be very dangerous. Because, you're supposed to try to arrest people first, and get him a hearing before the judge. But with these damn robots, they may just get to Xing folks out, man. Okay, let me see this. Bob Rogers says, I've had nightmares about hunter-killer robots. Ah, Bob, hey, don't have nightmares. Hey, we're gonna protect you over here, Bob. We got you. Don't have no nightmares. But hey, the truth is they are coming though. And I guess I can stop saying coming. They are really here now, I guess, because from everything I had read or saw online is that, because I don't know if the vote actually went through yet. Let me see. When did this come out? See, this came out. Yeah, so this came out on December the 2nd. So I guess this vote is going to come up on Tuesday. Okay, and we'll see what's going to happen. But yeah, don't be scared, Bob. But hey, the truth is they are coming, and we got to worry about the people that has control over them, whether they're gonna use them the right way. But like I say, it's gonna open up a can of worms. Leo says, wow. Dan Plago Boob Dan Art says, tell him, Health. He said they'll shoot somebody and just claim that it was a computer. See, that's what I'm saying. And claim that it was a computer error. All kinds of problematic. That's what I'm saying. Like, who is really going to be responsible for this? Who is really going to be responsible? Because the guy can say, hey, oh, no, man. Hey, they told me to use this robot. Nah, hey, look, hey, they told me to do it. No, it malfunctioned. It wasn't me. I wasn't trying to kill it. I'm going to kill that person. Stingray says, here, JD Cage. What up, Stingray? He said, have a great day, Jay. I'm back in the States and need to sleep. Oh, you get some sleep then, Stingray. Rest up, brother. Glad to hear from you. Andy the Virgo says, God bless. So, yeah, man, I ain't going to draw that out into, I'm going to put Bob Rogers' love back up here. But I'm not going to draw that out to any unnecessary, crazy, points. I've already made my point about it, and I read the article. But it really is disturbing for me that, once again, why do we have to do this in America? Why can't we lead the way into making these, androids and companion dolls, like China is doing and Japan is doing as far as that's concerned. Now, those countries, now China might have their own problems going on with the state of their political government and what the people are fighting back against. I'm not going to get deep into that. But I'm just going to speak about, so they have work to do in that regards. But I just say, in the robotics industry, they are doing the right thing. I love what they're doing. They still have a long way to go to make it completely functional. But I love what they're doing as far as making, they're really going for the Terminators, but not Terminators to kill you. They're going for companions. They're going for robots that look just like humans, but can be, in a workplace doing jobs that honestly they're deeming to be lower level jobs. Because what China is trying to do now is they're actually getting rid of some lower level jobs, which people in America may be outraged about, because some people like doing lower level jobs. There's nothing wrong with that. And what I mean by lower level jobs, it's more blue collar jobs where, hey, it's about brute force and physical activity. You have some people who love that. So they don't want certain jobs to be taken away by robots. Keep that in mind. But what China is doing is they're saying, hey, we're going to start giving some of these jobs to the robots. And in the future, you're going to have to just use your brain more and get into a different type of job where you're using more of your brain. In a way, that's good. But I still think it still needs to be room for people who work with their hands and are more physical. They should always have a place. They should never be fully replaced. They should always have a place, because it's still something about humans being able to put their hands on things that's a bit special. So I'm going to always vouch for, I love the fact that robots can help out, but, I don't want them to just completely replace everybody in every aspect. But I do like the fact that it can take away some of these more menial jobs, and it will actually force society to evolve to have more thinking level jobs. I do like that aspect of what China is doing as far as that, the robots in the workplace. But what I really love is that, once again, they're focused on making humanoid type of robots, and over here in the United States, we're focused on trying to blow somebody's guts out, and I don't like that. Okay, so either way, that was my big point about the wrong type of robots. I don't like it. So something else that I wanted to talk about today with you guys was another. This is a conspiracy, more or less, and this is. I want to have you guys heard. I know a lot of you have probably heard about this crypto conspiracy that's been going around. Well, I read about it, and I'm going to be honest. It blew my mind. It blew my mind from just some of the stuff that I was reading. I'm gonna make myself a little bit big, but now I'm gonna go back there. Yeah, just some of the stuff I was reading about it, right? So I'm going to go through. It's all these heads of crypto just back to back to back have ended up dead. And I've told you guys before, I'm big on conspiracy, theories and things of that nature. Not recently either. I've always had, been big on conspiracy theories. And the funniest part about it is most of the ones I read about a long time ago have already come true. I just give you one. Before they start putting these computer chips in dogs and your pets and stuff like that, which they're trying to put them in human babies now. But before they put them in dogs, I read about that long ago, before they had started doing it. I read about it in the book. But when I read about it in the book, everybody that I showed there said, "Oh, that's crazy. That's not going to happen." Now, I have my cat Luke, my orange cat Luke, who I love him to death. I got him I got him from the pound here in Memphis. My cat Yoda walked up on my doorstep, so I got her straight off the doorstep. But my cat Luke, after I had Yoda, I'm like, I need her to have some company. So I decided to get another cat, and I went to the shelter to get Luke. They wouldn't let me have him until he got a microchip implanted into his neck. This may be nothing to most people to go in there, but for me, it always bothers me because I read about that long before it was put into place. I read about this guy who had uncovered a conspiracy. And he said, "Hey, a lot of things are going to change. This is going to change. This is going to change." And he listed off a lot of things. I'm not going to list it all off because, once again, most of them have already come true. But I'm not going to list them all off. But one of the things he listed was, he said, pretty soon they're going to start putting microchips in animals. And he said, "Hey, we're going to be, humans are going to follow soon thereafter." And it's been about 4 or 5 years now when I read an article about them putting the chip in people in South America so they can get into a damn soccer game for free. They had put a chip into a certain amount of people. There was they were like season ticket holders for this club, and these members volunteered to get the chip in them so they wouldn't have to wait in line. I said, "What?" Then I read about some people in Europe at a certain company getting chips put in them. And I read about a tech company out in Silicon Valley where it was like 20 coworkers. It was Silicon Valley or San Diego. I can't remember which one, but they agreed to get the chip put in them so they could get free snacks out of the vending machine. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So, making a long story short, all that stuff that I had read about was actually coming true. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. So, making a long story short, I already don't dismiss all these conspiracies. But I'm not here to prove whether this conspiracy is right or wrong. I'm just here to talk about it. So I'm not here to bring up, like I say, all my old conspiracies and what I believe is real or right, because I'm not trying to convince people of what's real or right. I made a decision a long time ago. I'm going to let y'all believe, or whoever believe, whatever they want to believe. But I know the conspiracies that I've read about, they're convincing to me. So the name of this is Curse of the Crypto Whiz Kids, Missing Millions, Mysterious Deaths, and Wild Conspiracy Theories Surrounding the Untimely Demise of Digital Currency Tycoons after young star becomes second to die in 4 weeks. Now, I don't want to sensationalize deaths because this stuff is not funny or anything for me to talk about, but it is a mystery, and I want to talk about it for a second. So let's start off. And who wrote this? Does it say? By Louis Pinnock for thedailymail.com. He writes, cryptocurrency entrepreneur Titian Kullander is the second industry leader to die unexpectedly in a matter of weeks. His death in his sleep came after fellow crypto millionaire Nikolai Mushigian, 29, died on October 28th, hours after a paranoid Twitter post expressing fears. And God bless you, CIA. This ain't me talking. I'm just reading the article. He said expressing fears that the CIA and Mossad were going to murder him. The deaths mean at least 4 cryptocurrency tycoons have died unexpectedly since 2018, at times triggering wild and unfounded conspiracy theories. Now, let me just stop here before I go forward. Let me tell you something. I don't know any other major companies where 4 people have died since 2018. Now, keep in mind, maybe it's happened and I haven't heard about it. But I would think that if it had happened, I would have heard about it. So I'm letting you know, it just smells bad. This don't smell normal to me. So if anybody wants to just say, oh, this is just these are just, hey man, these are just acts of death. You never know when anybody's going to die. Yeah, man, but I've never known people this filthy rich as heads of companies to just die off like this. This is a bit crazy. And I'm gonna hit back on this later when I come up to this part in the article. But let me tell you something. The whole reason I started even getting interested in this story was because of this Nikolai Mushigian guy, 29, died on October 28th. Hours after a paranoid Twitter post. We're going to read about it. But let me tell you something. I've talked about how, you know what, man? You could be telling the truth and you can actually be somebody with influence that on the normal basis would be believed. But when you say, I just say something like the wrong thing, it doesn't even matter who important you are. Nobody's going to believe you. I've talked about this President Jimmy Carter. He said he saw a UFO. You never hear anything about it. That it gets downplayed. Why? Because even a president, when it comes to saying you saw a UFO, you believe in aliens, or even though it's been, like I say, it's been brought about that the government has said, okay, UFOs exist now to a certain degree. But what I'm saying is, before that happened, people, that whole notion of Jimmy Carter seeing a UFO was basically shunned. And I've always said, man, if a president could say he saw a UFO and nobody really believed him and they just forget it was ever said, what chance do I have as a normal citizen of anybody believing me? You know, I've heard of high-ranking military officials seeing UFOs, and I'm talking about before it got declassified. I've heard all these people saying they saw UFOs, and guess what? They were never believed. Never believed. Never taken seriously. I've often said, if a UFO landed in my backyard, I took a video with my phone. It doesn't matter. Nobody would believe me. They'd say it was photoshopped. Nobody would believe it. So I want to get to this, and I'm going to keep moving because we're going to read about it. But when this guy says, but when they say he died hours, now listen to this, hours after a paranoid Twitter post saying that people were trying to murder him. I don't know about you guys, but when the person who says, hey, they're trying to kill me, when he ends up dead a few hours later, once again, I'm not accusing the CIA or whoever this Mossad group is, but guess what? Somebody killed him, in my opinion. That's a bit more than being paranoid. That's a bit more than being paranoid. When you say, hey, I think somebody finna kill me, and you end up dead. I'm going to talk more about that. I'm going to keep reading. The deaths mean at least 4 cryptocurrency tycoons have died unexpectedly since 2018, at times triggering wild and unfounded conspiracy theories. And just a quick thought. That first story, it had something directly to do with my thoughts on companion dollars and all this. This is just an interesting story. I'm going to continue. The 2 others who died were Gerald Cotton and Matthew Mellon. They died without sharing the keys to crypto wallets worth hundreds of millions of dollars, leaving the funds inaccessible. And I didn't see this, but they said Cotton's demise was so mysterious and controversial that it prompted a Netflix documentary into whether the whole thing was faked. Meanwhile, Mellon, the ex-husband of Jimmy Choo, who I don't know who the hell Jimmy Choo is, but they say he's the co-founder of Tamara Mellon. Hold on. Oh, I read that wrong. Meanwhile, Mellon, the ex-husband of Jimmy Choo co-founder Tamara Mellon, suffered a heart attack while preparing to check into a drug rehab clinic in Mexico. So that's what happened to Mellon. Now, this guy is Titian Kullander. He was only 30. Once again, these dudes young, a couple of them young now. He was the co-founder of Amber Group, a cryptocurrency trading platform, which was recently valued at $3 billion. He died unexpectedly in his sleep on November 23rd, the company announced in a statement on Friday. He is survived by his wife and their beloved son. A statement from Amber Group said, the company, which is based in Singapore, didn't say where Kullander passed away. A cause of death had also not been revealed on Monday. I don't like it. So you don't know where he died. You know, they don't tell you where he died. No cause of death. Okay. Amber Group said Titian, known as TT, was also lovingly known, was instrumental to the founding of Amber and a pillar of our success. He put his heart and soul into the company in every stage of its growth. He led by example with intellect, generosity, humility, diligence, and creativity. TT was a respected thought leader and widely recognized as a pioneer for the industry. His depth of knowledge, willingness to collaborate, and his desire to always help others benefited countless startups and individuals. His insights and creativity inspired many projects, people, and communities. He was credited with co-founding Amber and building it into a multi-billion-dollar fintech unicorn. I don't know what this is, but he was also on the board of Fnatic, an esports organization. Okay, esports organization. He and several of his colleagues were featured in Forbes 30 Under 30 list in 2019. Company was valued at $3 billion in recent months. So he just died in his sleep. You know, the cause isn't known. 30-year-old guy, that helped found a $3 billion company. Something is not smelling right with this. But this is the guy that really alarms the hell out of me, Nikolai Mushigian. Nikolai Mushigian, 29, died on October 28th, hours after tweeting that he feared that certain people were going to murder him. I've already said it, but I don't want to keep on saying it because I don't want them to get mad at me. He said, the troubled young millionaire had a history of mental health problems, according to whoever said this, and his family do not believe there was any foul play. Wait the hell a minute. How can you just come out and say something like that? First of all, let me just say this. Listen to this statement now, a troubled young millionaire. They're going to try to say a young millionaire, 29-year-old dude, had a history of mental health problems. Nah, bro, I'm not buying that. He had a series of mental health problems, but he just managed to be a millionaire at 29, a multi-millionaire. I bet he wasn't crazy while he was making those millions. Now, was he? Get out of here. And your family and his family's just gonna come out and say they don't believe it was any foul play. How you know? He said, I'm gonna go on and read. He said, but some of his associates have brought into the idea that his death was suspicious claims which are unfounded. In a tweet hours before he died, he said that certain people, basically these two groups and the pedo elite were running some kind of sex trafficking entrapment blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and the Caribbean islands. He said this: they are going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex-girlfriend who was a spy. They will torture me to death. Here go the tweet right here. I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just showing the tweet. They're going to frame me with that's what he said. So okay, he makes a tweet. Okay, they're going to kill me. But here's the problem. He was discovered by a surfer in the water at Ashford Beach on October 29th, fully clothed and carrying his wallet. I don't like it. The man just said, whether he was right about who was coming to kill him, he just said somebody was trying to kill him. Literally. Now, if he had said that and he kept living, maybe it's months later, he end up dead, I can be like, okay, man, hey, yeah, I know you said somebody might be killing you, might be wanting to kill you, but hey, it could be a coincidence. When you say somebody's trying to kill me, bro, and you end up dead hours later, that's why this story really just sparked me. I was just like, wait a minute, bro. I don't like this. I don't like that you can try to just summarily dismiss this guy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy that he ends up dead. Somebody could say, oh, he could have committed suicide. Maybe. But you know what? I don't like it. What? You don't know that. His mother clarified that his death had nothing to do with his conspiracy tweets. What? God bless you, mother, but you don't know that. You don't know. You don't know that his death didn't have anything to do with that. You weren't there. What are you talking about? I'm gonna be honest with you. I remember when because I did read this article before. I know when I think I first read this article, I ain't gonna lie. I just had some crazy thoughts. I know a normal mother wouldn't do that, but I was almost seeing a vision of somebody putting a gun to her head saying, hey, don't say the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you cannot say that with all confidence. Because I'm letting you know, man. Look, people have said this type of stuff before and it means nothing. But I'm letting you know, if I ever say that somebody's out to kill me and I end up dead, I'm going to let you know, which that's not going to happen. But I'm saying if that was to happen, guess what? I didn't kill myself, bro. I'm letting you know that now. But I've heard people even say that before, like, hey, I can't think of off bad, but somebody said that where, hey, if I end up dead, I wouldn't have killed myself. I mean, that just somebody recently said that it ended up dead. I can't think of who said that, man. But I'm letting you know what's frustrating about this is what's really frustrating about it is all of me and you out here are regular human people. I'm Jay Hefner, right? Even if I was to say this, hey man, somebody after me, if I end up dead, I didn't kill myself. All of you out here watching the show, you'll know that. You'll know that I said that. But you're not going to get up off your couch and go investigate who killed me. You're just going to be drawing the conclusions like I am. But here's the deal. In time, you know what you're going to be doing? You're going to go to work. You know what you're going to do? You're going to make love. You know what you're going to do? You're going to go to you're going to go have some adventure, fun. You're going to go to a movie, out to eat. You ain't going to be thinking about it after a while. I'm just going to be gone. And when people end up dead like this, that's what the people who kill them, in my opinion, they also know. Regular people are not finna do investigations like the movies. So even though you tweeted that we were going to kill you, the killer knows one thing. When I kill you, story's over. Ain't nobody coming to do no investigation. And here's the deal. I'm just going to throw it out here. Let's just say it's a powerful government run faction that is out to kill you. Ain't nobody finna investigate the government, brother, to find out who did it. Whatever come out in the news is going to be the story. And it's going to be people like me that going to be out here like, hey, this don't smell right. But you know what I'm not going to do once I get through with this stream? I ain't finna go investigate. I'm not calling the government's officials, and I'm not hunting him down. And that's where it actually hurts my heart, because when I see this stuff, I just put all of us in this situation of This could be any one of us. And if somebody's after us, it really goes to show nothing can really be done. Because I even think about, and I'm not even, once again, I'm not doing this thing to defend anything that Kanye says if you find anything that he says offensive. Keep in mind, I have a Jewish last name right now. So, hey, look, I don't want to see anybody getting talked about, but I'm just bringing up Kanye just for one instance here. He's basically turned, like I talked about the other day, into the enemy of the state, like the movie in Will Smith, to where they cutting his money off. And, look, he doesn't have sympathy out here from anybody. People aren't sympathizing with him. So what I'm saying is, if the powers that be are really out here and they do something to him, it's a good chance it's just going to go unsolved. Why? Because he doesn't have a sympathetic public out here. And once you're gone, the normal public isn't investigating it. They may think it's a conspiracy, but you're just gone. And what really, and I'm gonna get on with the rest of this thing, but what really breaks my heart with this particular guy is, just say you're him, right? And you tweet out that, man, they after me, they finna kill me. Even me sitting right here, it breaks my heart just to know that, man, he knew somebody was going to kill him. But guess what? Now that he's dead, nobody's looking. Just think about that. If you were him, right? You were screaming out, hey, man, somebody's killing me. They after me. And when you dead, just to know, I told them, but nobody listened to me. Nobody believed me. And now your murder is just, once again, it's just riding out there unsolved. You told people what happened, but it was so beyond the realms of believability by the normal person in public that the few people that do believe this conspiracy, guess what? They ain't doing nothing about it. They can't do nothing about it. To be honest with you, hell, I can't do nothing about it, It would take somebody that's actually close to that conspiracy to do something about it. But I just say it's sad that, man, you can make that statement, man. They come after to kill me, man. But you know what? Once they do kill you, they know ain't nobody coming to look for you. They know it. They know the story gonna die down. They know that everybody still got to go back to work tomorrow. They know that you're gonna go back to work feeling. You might feel bad, but guess what? You on back to work. You got to pay your own bills. And guess what? We just got. They can say to themselves, "We just got to. You told them we was gonna kill you, but guess what? We got away with it because nobody believed you." And I promise you, I hate when his mother says that his death had nothing to do with a conspiracy. You don't know that. Then she goes on to say, he was a beautiful man and a child at heart. And I promise you, so am I. He was also an incredible visionary. I don't call people brilliant very often, but Nikolai was brilliant. That's funny. That's really funny. You said you don't call people, his mother said she doesn't call people brilliant, but he was brilliant. That's pretty funny. Because right up here, he had a troubled history of mental health problems. But his mother says she doesn't call people brilliant very often, but he was brilliant. But up here, he had mental health problems. Get the hell out of here. Nikolai's family had become so concerned for his welfare that his father had gone to stay with him in Colorado, in Condado, Puerto Rico, where he is said to have lived in a $6 million house. Man, I can't lie. Nikolai was so crazy that he became a multimillionaire and was able to afford a $6 million house in Puerto Rico. Wow. He sounded really crazy. Get out of here. Nah, man, that guy wasn't crazy. Oh, here go the Gerald Cotton guy. He's another guy that died without sharing the keys to access of cryptocurrencies worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And some of the funds belong to his bankrupt cryptocurrency firm, and Quadriga CX. And some think he faked his own death and pocketed the cash. I don't believe that, though, from my standpoint. And I'm going to tell you why when we get to this part of the article. They say his death in 2018 prompted so much intrigue that it was investigated by the Netflix documentary Trust No One, which I haven't seen. They said he died while honeymooning in India with his wife. So I don't see how he could fake his own death when he's with his wife. I don't know the details of it, though. But they say he was the only person with the knowledge of keys, with knowledge of keys needed to access crypto assets worth millions of dollars. The odd circumstances surrounding his untimely death also include the fact that he signed a will just 9 days before his demise, fueling suspicion that Cotton, CEO of Canada's largest crypto exchange, faked the whole thing. But here's the deal. They say to this day, 169 million is still missing, prompting investigators and victims to question whether he orchestrated the mystery and pocketed the funds. I'm sort of confused about that whole thing because are they saying it's missing to where it's locked away? But if it's locked away, how do they, you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is I don't know if they have, if it's still locked away. When I read that, I'm like, if it's still locked away, he doesn't have access to it. How do they know he got it? But they're just trying to say, I guess, it's missing. They don't have any way to track it. But for me, that's just sort of hard to. I don't understand how he can use digital money that just can't be traced like that. I mean, if he was still alive, that's all I'm saying. Because even if it's digital money, and I'm thinking of it in my simple terms, but your money has to be somewhere where you can pull it away from. But if it doesn't even show up anymore, how can you pull it away to have it in your own pocket? So I can't lie. I'm confused about it. I don't believe he's still alive, though, myself. Some investors have even demanded his body be exhumed to prove it's really him. His firm had about 115,000 clients at the time of his death. They say he may still be alive living off embezzled funds. I don't believe so, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Oh, I still don't know how he can use it, though. I mean, I'm trying to think. But they said the hard drives that granted access to the assets which were not connected to the internet. So that explains why he can use it without it being connected. But it said it stored the cryptocurrency of 75,000 clients, and for which only he had the password. But here's the part that confuses me. Like, even if it's not connected to the internet, that money has to exist somewhere. And they saying it exists on these hard drives. But what I'm saying is it has to turn into real money at some point. So let's just say you download these hard drives with the money on it and start turning it into real assets. At some point, that should pop up somewhere. It seems like it should pop up somewhere to where people would notice, okay, somebody just automatically got access to X amount of millions of dollars that wasn't in existence 2 seconds ago. So I'm sort of confused about how it all works. I guess they call these hard drives wallets. So the investigators found that the wallets were commonly used to store Bitcoin starting in April 2014. But in April 2018, all but one of them were abruptly emptied and left dormant. Okay. So they were empty. Okay, yeah, man. I can see why they think he killed himself because he died in 2018. But my thing is, what if he got tortured? That's another thing that could have got. That's something else that could have got happened. I mean, not could have got happened, but that's something else that could have happened. He could have gotten captured, tortured for the codes. Then somebody could have emptied them and then got rid of his body. That's something else that could have happened. The final wallet was still used to transfer currency until December 3rd, 6 days before Cotton died, before it was also left empty. Oh yeah, so he definitely could have. Hey, like I say, it does sound like he could have had something to do with it. But like I told you, it's the perfect setup for whoever could have killed him too, because they could have been like, yeah, kill him. You know what I'm saying? Get the code from him, leave him dead. He gonna get the blame. So, and some people say there are a lot of theories about him, but the most one that's most popular is that he's living off the millions somewhere. His widow, Jennifer Robertson, said her husband's death should not be in doubt. According to Vanity Fair, Cotton claimed in a 2014 interview that he wrote his passwords on paper and locked them in a safe deposit box at a bank because that's the best way to keep coins secure. Later, he joked that he had a safe bolted to the rafters in the attic. Shortly before his demise, Cotton told close friends and family that Quadriga had a dead man switch that would send them access to the exchange's funds in the case of his disappearance or death. None of this was true. According to Canada's Globe and Mail, Cotton and his wife were 9 days into their honeymoon when the couple arrived at the $932 a night Eberroy Rajvilas Hotel in Jaipur on December 8th, 2018. Soon after checking in, Cotton complained of acute stomach pain and was driven to a nearby hospital where he was diagnosed with traveler's diarrhea. 24 hours later, he was dead. That is crazy. No autopsy was performed. Now that's even crazier. Since when don't you get an autopsy? Sparking more suspicion was the fact that just 3 days before leaving for India, Cotton filed a detailed will that left everything to Robertson, his $12 million real estate portfolio, a Lexus sports car, his Cessna aircraft, a 50-foot sailboat, bank accounts, and even frequent flyer points. He set aside $100,000 for the care of their chihuahuas, but curiously made no mention of the external hard drives that store most of Quadriga's funds. So he set her up good. My thing is, did he know something was finna happen to him? That's another thing. You know, sometimes they show in the movies how these guys, they know they finna go have a meeting with a questionable character. And maybe he was like, hey, just in case I end up dead on this trip, let me go ahead and set her up. You never know. And here's the last guy, Matthew Mellon. Troubled bank heir Matthew Mellon held XRP coins valued at upwards of $200 million and was the only person who could access the cryptocurrencies. He died without sharing the digital keys needed to access the assets. He died of a heart attack in 2018 while preparing to check in to a drug rehabilitation clinic in Cancun, Mexico. He's about the only one that sounds like, you know what, it could have been a reasonable death. He was the only person who could access the $200 million. He reportedly never shared keys with anyone to the XRP with anyone. Some of the keys were held in other people's names and storage around the U.S. It said XRP was trading at only a fraction of a penny when Mellon first took an interest in the asset. At its height, the cryptocurrency has traded at more than $1 per coin. At its peak, Mellon's initial $2 million investment was worth around $1 billion. He was survived by his first wife, Tamara Mellon, who is the co-founder of Jimmy Choo, and his second wife, fashion designer Nicole Hanley. He also has 3 children. He met his first wife in 1998 at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, and they tied the knot. Blah, blah, blah. In 2006, he met his second wife. They wed 2 years later in the Bahamas. They later divorced in 2016. In February, Mellon told Forbes that he liked XRP, used by currency exchange network Ripple, because it was one of the handful of cryptocurrencies that actually operated within the traditional banking system. Crypto is scary and dark. It's anti-American, Mellon told Forbes, explaining that he chose Ripple because he is a pro he is pro-America, pro-business, and pro-bank. See him with his family. He battled an OxyContin addiction where he was spending $100,000 a month. Damn. That stuff is that expensive? $100,000 a month? Hey, bro, you could have just moved to Denver, man, and hey, smoked on a little herbs every now and then if you was gonna do something like that, man. Go to Denver where it's legal at, man. And, hey, what are you doing, man? Mellon in 2016, Mellon blamed doctors for his addiction, saying they were writing prescriptions like they were Smarties. And I'm not telling you to smoke, go to Denver to do that. I'm not telling you out there to do that. I'm just saying, hey, he could have did that before he got on OxyContin. It said at the time he was checked into a addiction treatment center, blah, blah, blah. He was born in New York to one of the oldest banking families. Really? Descended from Mellon Bank founder Judge Thomas Mellon and American banker and Drexel University founder Anthony Joseph Drexel. Wow, he got some famous people in his family. What? He inherited $25 million when he turned 21? My God. Bro, you didn't even have to invest in the business. You could have just been chilling out, even though he ended up turning into $1 billion eventually. They say he led prosperous careers in fashion, telecommunication, served as chairman of finance committee of the Republican Party, added to his wealth with his cryptocurrency career by buying and selling Bitcoin. In 2015, he became global ambassador of Ripple Labs and invested $2 million in XRP coin, which grew to grew into a $1 billion fortune. In light of his death, his family is scrambling to find his cryptocurrency fortune that has seemingly disappeared. Wow, according to a family friend. That is crazy. So that means, man, they just left without access to any of that money. Oh, I don't know what state of affairs they're in right now, but I just say this. His seems the less suspicious out of all of them. The least suspicious out of all of them. The least suspicious out of all of them. Cotton, I don't know whether he did it himself or whether, somebody did it to him. It's really some gray areas there. But something just doesn't seem normal about all this. But the thing that bothers me out of everybody is this guy, Nikolai Mushigin. It just bothers me about what the circumstances of him telling people that people were after him and him ended up dying and nobody believing him. And it just made me think about the UFO thing. It just made me think about how, man, these are millionaires, and as a regular person, you don't got a chance. If you tell somebody's going to kill you, if they're not believing millionaires, guess what? We don't have a chance in that regard. This made me think of another story that I can't, let me see if I can pull it up. It actually made me think of another story that I'm going to talk about before I get out of here. And tomorrow we're going to be all the way back on something to do with the dolls. And then we got Power Hour. Y'all know how it go. Y'all know how the week gonna go after that. But I want to see something right quick. I want to see if I got this article on my phone still. I don't see it right there. But I had something else that had happened that was really crazy. Okay, I don't see it. It might be on my other phone. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna check my other phone. Because this story is actually crazy too. And it sort of goes along with the thing about, man, sometimes you don't know what to believe, man. People could be telling the truth and you won't even believe them. I hope I can find this, because this is a very interesting article as well. Before we get back to all the real work tomorrow. Oh no, that ain't it. I guess I messed around and closed it out by mistake. I tell you what, I'm finna check something. I'm finna stop sharing this. I might be able to find it over here. Let me see. But it was another story. It was about this guy, man. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, that's crazy. That's a story I'm gonna talk about another time. I found another story on here. But it's this other guy, man, that I wanted to talk about. Well, either way, I can't think of his name right now, but it was this guy named, I'm finna see, I'm finna try to look it up. It was this guy named Something You. Something You, man. Something You, basically, what happened was he was some type of pop star. He was some type of pop star. I wish I could think of find that article that I had. I had it saved, but I'm trying to think. Hold on. Is this it? No, that ain't it. Man, but it was a great little story that I had. Basically, it was this guy. He's some type of pop star or something over there in Canada, but he was from China. But something happened where he was over in China or something, and literally a woman accused him of assaulting her or something. Literally just accused him. And man, they say that the government arrested him over in China, and they end up giving him a private. They gave him a private hearing. It was closed to the public, and literally gave this man, like, man, they gave him a nice long sentence, right? But all I was saying was, it sounded so messed up because the guy, he denied it. He was like, man, I didn't. He was like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I don't know whether he was innocent or not, but he was saying he didn't do it. But it's so fishy that they gave this man a closed hearing to the public, so nobody knows what the hell was going on in there. You know what was said. But they were saying something about, I wish I could put an article up, but they said in the article they were saying how basically, and look, I'm not saying this for sure, because like I said, this is just what was written in the article. This isn't me saying this about the Chinese government. I don't know. But in the article, it was saying that China was trying to crack down on what they considered basically people from their country actually getting what they call the celebrity treatment, getting their heads too big with celebrity. That's what they're basically saying. And they said that they were actually cracking down on celebrities, to sort of prove a point that, hey, just because you're a celebrity, you're not bigger than the government. So he's Canadian. He was Canadian and Chinese. So it's crazy. They're going to keep him over there for, like, I think a decade or so, 10 or 15 years or something like that. And then they're going to extradite him back to Canada, where he was actually living at. But I said, that is messed up from one standpoint. If he did the crime, I understand he's getting punished. But it's sort of fit with this cryptocurrency thing is, in some places, man, you could be telling the truth. And once they decide you're guilty, it don't matter what you say, bro. You could be telling the truth or not. We ain't gonna give you no fair trial. Once again, I'm not saying he didn't get a fair trial. I don't know. But when I read that story and he was denying it, the way they wrote the story, it sounded literally like the girl said that he did something and he got convicted. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't no if, ands, or buts. Oh, he did something? Okay, arrest him. We don't care what you say. You going to jail. Damn. Man, when I read that, I was like, man, this case sounded a little too, cut and dry right here. This guy, I'm not sure he got a fair trial, but even so, once again, it was that same instance of you could be telling the truth, but guess what? Nobody believes you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody believes you. And man, it ain't nothing worse than that. Because I was just thinking of him like, man, which is plenty of people sitting in jail doing that, but man, it's no worse feeling if you are in jail and you know you didn't do it. What if he just got himself caught up in a political triangle of like they said that somebody was trying to make a statement based off of arresting you. And I didn't even want to bring this up, but even with that Brittany Griner thing, because she actually did get caught in violation of doing something against Russian laws. It was a mistake, but according to their laws, she actually did what they accused her of. But she could have been ignorant of the law, but like we all know, ignorance doesn't save you from the law. But I guess what I'm saying though is it's probably still nowhere in her brain that she would think that she would be doing a 9-year sentence for whatever she did, right? But guess what? It doesn't matter who you scream out to and say, hey, it was, this was just mine. This wasn't anything that was this bad. It don't matter. Hey, once you over there, that's what you finna be until they let you go. And same thing with him. You could be telling the truth, but hey, bro, once they got you, they got you. It ain't nothing you can do. So I was just, man, all this stuff is just, it's mind blowing how, like I say, you could be telling the truth, man, but if you're in the wrong situation, you just in the wrong situation. Let me catch up with my comments. Mixta says, yo, man, I'm very late. Well, that's because I've been starting the show around 2:30, sometimes 3, but today I started at 1:30 in the morning. I don't know when I be, I try to start around the same time as far as, within an hour or two of when I always start normally. But for the most part, you have to check your notifications, turn them notifications on and things of that nature. And all shouts out to the Dog King Army today. God bless everybody that supports me, team within the team. But man, I end up forgetting. I didn't let my team know, because I was going to let my team know what time I was going to stream today. And I didn't, I got to putting the show together, getting everything set up, and I didn't even have time to let them know. So I'm still glad for the people that actually did make it to this stream. Shouts out to all of you guys. He said, most of these conspiracies are true. Let me tell you, I know one thing. A lot of them are more true than false. I agree with you. I'm not going to go out listening to them all. I let people believe what they want. He said when shit hits the fan, the good people will go after those elite speedos. I doubt it. That's why I disagree. Man, ain't no normal people going after these elite. For one, they don't even know who they, you know what I'm saying? You don't even know who the real elite are. That's the truth. You are not going to know who the real elite are. And once again, everybody bump their gums off of their porches, man. Ain't nobody coming out their normal everyday porches finding out who these people are. You know what I'm saying? That's just, no, they ain't not doing that. Ain't no me's and you's out there tracking down the elite of the elite. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Ain't nobody mess with, like I told you, just like Nikolai. He told you somebody was finna kill him. Is anybody hunting down the people that killed him, or people that could have killed him? No, they're not, because it's a good chance that the people that did kill him are of organizations that the normal person ain't coming nowhere close to. So I disagree with you on that. He said Kanye is 100% correct. I tell you one thing about Kanye. I'm not going to say he's 100% correct on everything he's saying, but I say this, him coming off as crazy and stuff is not what people think it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not what people think it is. I just say that. I'm not going to even go into it, but I just say this. It's not what people think it is. It's not what people think it is. Him and his riffs. If anything, he's trying to come off as crazy for a reason. Believe me. So I say this. Miktai says his mom was probably threatened. I have no idea what was going on with that. Jabez says based. Dan Pliego, Boob Dan R says, I can't remember the dude's name, but I know what you're talking about. It's the pop. Yes. I can't, man. Who is this? No. I'm talking about this guy. He was a pop star guy, but this guy isn't dead. This guy is supposed to supposedly in jail over in China right now. I don't know who I can't think of his name because I had it saved on my phone and and I lost it. Okay, I found it. Chris Wu. That's the guy who I'm talking about. It's a guy named Chris Wu. I'm gonna see if I can pull up the article on here. This is the guy I'm talking about. Chris Wu. This the guy. Chris damn well Wu. Because when I read this, I'm like, man, it'll be you just never know if somebody's telling the truth, and you will never, like I say, you'll never know now. Oh, he heard me talking the story. He said, oh, that's different. Mr. Power Brian said, what's up? What up, Power Brian? I'm talking about a lot of stuff, Power Brian. I can't lie. I'm talking about a lot of stuff. So if you ain't caught up, you're going to probably have to go back and look at it because I can't cover all those bases again. I can just tell you what the subjects are. The subject is I talked about the wrong type of robots, about people bringing, about people putting in these deadly robots are being legal in California now. I talked about that. And I talked about a whole bunch of conspiracies with cryptocurrency. So I can't go over all of that with you, my friend. You're going to have to definitely go back and listen to that. Too much to cover. Let me see something. Oh, I want to share this article. Chris Wu. Okay, now Chris Wu, once again, I'm not telling you that this guy's innocent or anything. I'm just telling you that this is it's just a very peculiar show to me that, man, what if he's telling the truth? But Chinese-Canadian pop star Chris Wu was sentenced to 13 years in prison for rape and other charges, they say. A Chinese court on Friday sentenced Chinese-Canadian pop star Chris Wu to 13 years in prison on charges including rape. Beijing's Chaiyang District Court said Wu was given 11 years and 6 months for a 2020 rape and 1 year and 10 months for the crime of assembling a crowd to engage in sexual promiscuity in a 2018 event in which he and others allegedly assaulted 2 women they had gotten drunk. Now, once again, I'm not judging the guy, but I assume that when women see him, they don't think he's ugly. He looks like a guy that, women may think are attractive. And I can't lie. I'm 6 feet. And, for a guy of Asian descent, this guy is a tall guy. I think they say he was like 6'1". So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, even American women would probably be attracted to this guy. And when I saw him and I started thinking about rape, once again, it's attractive men who women think are attractive. They still do rape. It may be an attractive guy. You'd be like, hey, dog, why would you have to rape? You already got girls, right? I know this famous football player. I forgot his name off the top of my head, but he went to jail for rape a while back, and he was working at ESPN, had a good job, was retired from football, seemed to be a guy that women would like. And I'm like, how do you end up raping people, dude? What are you doing? And, he actually got convicted, though, of doing it. He was found guilty. And it wasn't a private court case either. But on here, it said the court said 3 victims in the rape case had also been drunk and were unable to consent. It said a combined 13-year sentence. Hold on, did I go past something? Yeah, hold on, I did go past something. No, okay, let me just read it all over again. A Chinese court on Friday sentenced Canadian pop star Chris Wu to 13 years in prison on charges including rape. Beijing's Chaiyang district said Wu was given 11 years, 6 months for 2020 rape and 1 year and 10 months for crime assembling of a crowd to engage in sexual promiscuity in 2018, an invention which he and others allegedly assaulted 2 women. They had gotten drunk. The court said the 3 victims in the rape case had also been drunk and were unable to consent. It said a combined 13-year sentence was agreed on and Wu would immediately be deported after serving his time. According to the facts, the nature, circumstances, and harmful consequences of the crime, the court made the above judgment, the court said in an online statement. A Canadian diplomat was in court to hear the sentencing, it said. So a Canadian diplomat was there. Wu was also slapped with a fine of 600 million won, or 83.7 million. Wow. For evading taxes by massively underreporting his earnings from performances. What is wrong with my words this morning? Advertisements, and other sources of income. I told you, man, sometimes I get sleepy mouth early in the morning. I have no idea. And I'm not sleepy. It said Wu used a fake business to convert the nature of his income and falsely declare it, and evaded 95 million won of tax by concealing personal income through multiple domestic and overseas affiliated companies, state news agencies Xinhua. The June trial of the 32-year-old former member of the South Korean group EXO was closed to the public to protect the victim's privacy. I don't like that. I do not like that. When I read that, that's when when I was reading this, I said, that's the first time I started thinking like, hey, that don't sound right. I'm sorry for the victims, but I'm sorry, man. You shouldn't be closing the trial to public, man. To protect her privacy. I'm sorry. No, we need, somebody need to be witnessing this. They say a Canadian guy was there to witness it, but no, I don't like that being closed to the public. Wu has been detained since August 21st while police conducted an investigation in response to his comments online that he repeatedly lured young women to have sex, according to a police statement at that time. I don't know if they were underage or not. Now, it says that year, a teenager did accuse him of having sex with her while she was drunk. Wu, known in Chinese as Wu Yifan, denied the accusation. This is the part I was talking about. And if he did do it, hey, I'm not saying he's guilty or innocent. I'm just saying, what if he's telling the truth? It said the teenager said 7 other women contacted her to say Wu seduced them with promises of jobs and other opportunities. She said some were under 18. So supposedly some were under 18, according to her. Rape is punishable by 3 to 10 years in prison, although exceptional cases can result in harsher sentences up to death. The second charge Wu faced is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. It says he was previously one of China's most bankable stars, but brands including Louis Vuitton, Bulgari, L'Oreal, Men, and Porsche suspended their partnerships with him over the case. And more victims spoke out online in the wake of the initial claims, accusing Wu's staff of predatory behavior, including inviting them to boozy karaoke parties. Now, excluding people being underage, because of course I'm not saying he should be inviting anybody underage to drink booze, but no offense, inviting people to a party, I don't see what's wrong with it. Guess what? If you don't want to go to a boozy karaoke party, don't go. You can't get mad because somebody invited you to come. unless you're underage. The hashtags girls help girls, girls helping girls, and girls help girls time. I don't even know what that means. Where women express solidarity with DOE were censored from Chinese social media in the wake of the scandal. I don't know what that means. Okay, here you go. It says the Weibo trending hashtag, the law is the lowest standard of morals, also racked up 830 million views as users complained about the high legal threshold required for victims to prove sexual assault in court. So they were saying that it should be eased up for them to prove that they, were sexually assaulted. And I don't know anything about how strict their laws about proving that is. So they said it invoked China's embodied Me Too movement, which saw a wave of women come forward in 2018 voicing experiences of sexual harassment, sometimes involving powerful figures. So they just talking about the Me Too movement. I'm not really reading that part of it. Let me see. Here's the thing that was troubling for me. Wu's case was at the center of a sweeping government crackdown on celebrity culture that took hold last summer. That's what I was talking about. I don't like the sound of that. Around the same time as his arrest, top actress Zhang Shang was hit with the $46 million tax evasion fine, while references to film star Zhao Wei were wiped from video streaming sites. So references to this other star was wiped from video streaming sites. Authorities said they were targeting unhealthy values and abnormal aesthetics, ordering broadcasters to cut reality talent shows and stop giving airtime to sissy men, what they say, sissy men and vulgar influencers. Critics have argued that the moves also aim to enhance and this is not me, this is just me reading, but it says critics have argued that the moves have also aimed to enhance the Communist Party's ideological control and curb external influences that could pose a threat to its rule. So that's the only part that started giving me trouble was, I'm hoping that they would not, even if this guy got accused, I'm just saying, look, of course, I'm not defending anybody that rapes a woman or does any harm. Guess what? If you do harm to a woman, rape them and all, and you get judged and you get sent to jail, guess what? You did the crime, and guess what? That's where they have you at. But my whole thing is, I would hate to think that this guy is somewhere serving jail time as some sort of a political objective to curb external influences, basically, like they're saying right here. They don't want to see what they call sissy men and vulgar influences. Basically, they don't want to see these influencers influencing the public. And that's why I was like, I'm hoping, if this guy did everything they said, okay, he's just doing the time for doing a crime, okay. But when I get to the reading stuff about government trying to crack down on the influence that some people might have, and they start sort of bringing up that, to me, they sort of hinted at the fact that these people could be getting charged for taxes that they don't really owe type stuff, even though they pointed out that they could have been doing tax evasion. They also sort of, to me, hinted in that last paragraph that, hey, these things could be coming up to dissuade a certain type of attitude, to keep people from trying to be that individual. And I was like, this whole little thing is foggy to me. Of course, I'm not going to defend anybody doing any harm to any women in any way, but I also do have that other side of man. Sometimes people are telling the truth, and guess what? when you're fighting against a giant that's too big for you to beat, your truth is going to shrink in the shadow of their power. And what I mean by that is, thinking back to Nikolai, he's dead and gone right now. Everybody's still going to work, having sex, and they're going on with their life. Where he could have been telling the truth about getting hunted down and murdered. But even with all his money, whoever was hunting down and murdering him, if that's what happened, had power. So guess what? Now that he's gone, it ain't nothing you, me, and all the people who don't have any power can do about it. He's gone. Nobody's investigating it, and that's that on that. So with this guy who's an entertainer, even if he's telling the truth to some form of fashion, hey, they got you now, bro. It ain't nothing you can do about it. And that's all I was saying is, man, sometimes it just scares me. Not scares me literally, because I'm not scared. With God going before me, I fear no man. But what I'm saying is, it's a scary situation to think that, man, hey, at some point you could be telling 100% truth and nobody believes you. And in the back of your mind, you might even think, hey, well, if I was a celebrity, or if I was the president, or if I was somebody like that, they would believe me. But I've already given you an example. You can be the president, bro. Say you saw a UFO or whatever, or a real alien. Ain't nobody gonna believe you. They're gonna make it to where you're unbelievable. And so that's why I say, I don't know if this guy's telling the truth or not, but if he is, man, that's sad that he boy has to you know what I'm saying, go to jail for that long, and man, ain't nothing you can do about it. Let me see. Okay, I don't got many comments. Power Burn says, thank you. He said he may not have committed that rape. They may have used rape allegations to set him up. Right. A lot of stars get set up to get that. That's what I say, man. All you got to do is have a girl to say something. I'm not saying he's like, I don't know what happened in the case, but he could have been set up. But once you're set up, once you're behind bars, it ain't nothing anybody could do about it. We can just sit out here and we can bring it up every now and then. But you know what? I'm not going to make too much of a stink, because you know what? I don't want nobody coming after me. I just thought these stories were interesting. So I brought them up. But I'm telling you, man, it's really sad to think that, man, even if you're telling the truth, somebody can make your ass disappear. Simple as it. And nobody's going to come behind you like in the movies to do a follow-up investigation. You know how they do in the movies when somebody has already got convicted and then their friends prove they're innocent? Nah, that don't happen in real life, bro. When you convicted, your ass is gone and everybody going back to work, and they saying, oh, I feel bad that he gone and he dead now. You know? And it's just that on that. So I can't lie, and this one didn't have a whole bunch to do with any of the dog topic. This was just, these last two things I was talking about were just interesting subjects. And I'm like, you know what? I want to bring these up tonight, have some fun, talk about them, and break them down, and just think about how, man, sometimes, boy, you know, you can really get control taken out of your hands. I promise you. You know, you can really see how much little control you can really have when other powers that be get involved. Now, me, like I told you, I'm not going to get scared of no man in no situation, because God goes before me, making crooked places straight. If he for me, no man can stand against me. I ain't worried. But I tell you this, things can happen in this world. Things can happen in this world, and you can come up missing. And man, look, you may even think after you're gone that, hey, I told everybody. They'll find out what happened to me. Nah, bro. You can know exactly what happened to you. You can call out and say what happened to you. But you know what? Once you're gone, you're probably just gone. Nobody's looking for those killers, especially if those killers got too much damn power. If they got too much power, you're just dead. And the worst part about that whole scenario is those people in power know that too. They know that once they X you out, it may be some crying and some tears, but in a week or two, you just gone. So I hope you guys had some fun tonight, man. Like I say, it's 2 hours at the 2 hour point. I don't want to take it out too long. I want to make it still watchable for you guys that want to, for people that want to come back and look at the stream. So I definitely hope you had a great time. And once again, we talked about the wrong type of robots that it pisses me off that they we should be working on companion doll robots over here as opposed to robots that can blow your leg off and blow your head off. I talked about that, and I jumped into that crypto conspiracy because I think it's some funny business going on with that, man. It's just a very interesting subject. Just to think about how these people coming up missing, multi-millionaires, at the head of their companies. And like I say, if it was just these deaths happening, guy dying in his sleep, heart attack, things of that nature, I might be willing to let things go. But when 3 head guys die within weeks of each other, and one of them said people were chasing him, something just don't smell right. So I feel like, I'm like, you know what? I know this ain't the dog topic, but it's Monday. It's story time. People are starting off their week. I said, this would be a nice little story just to talk about, to start your week off. Just something fun and interesting. And then I ended it with the Chris Wu guy. Once again, in all these instances, just for our clarity, I'm not saying anybody is innocent, guilty. I'm not saying any of these organizations killed anybody. But what I am doing is looking over the evidence and wondering what the hell happened. And could these guys be telling the truth? Especially in the case of Chris Wu. I don't know whether he raped or didn't rape. But I know one thing. It's some stuff in that story that seems a bit funny to me. I'm not, because like I said, he could be that guy that's handsome, because you do have this sometimes. He could be that guy that's handsome to women, but still does stupid stuff. Like I told you, got guys that can get women, they'll still drug them and stuff. Hey, dude, you can get the vagina without drugging them. What are you doing here? So if he's one of those guys, guess what? He's in the right, he got caught. And you know what? That's what he's, if that's what the law dictated that he get in trouble for, okay. But if he got wrongly arrested, man, it hurts my heart to think about anybody in a situation like that. So that's all we talked about. I actually had a few more random things I could talk about, but like I said, I want to keep this thing watchable for you guys that want to relook at it. Sometimes they just go long and it can't be helped. But tonight, I'm at a point where I can literally stop and let you guys have a great Monday. I want to send blessings over your life, health, finances, relationships, whatever it is. Believe it and receive it. God will definitely deliver it. Thank you for spending time with us wherever you are in the world, morning, noon, and night. We appreciate you. Hit that like, subscribe, share. Like I say, remember, if you ever want a companion doll, look in the descriptions of my videos. I have all of my vendors. I have Real Doll now, and I have all other vendors for all other type of companion dolls. All brands you're looking for, I have in the description of my videos, dispersed through all of my vendors. If you ever want to donate to the show, I have a link in there as well, Biker for Companion Dolls. You can donate there. You can donate on any live streams, super chat, super sticker, super thanks on individual videos. And last but not least, if you ever want to donate, you can go to PayPal or Cash App on the About section of my YouTube channel. And also in the About section are those same companion doll vendors if you're looking for a doll. Look here. Don't be watching this show every day and you go buy a companion doll from one of these other vendors and not support the show. We need you. So we're not rushing you to get a doll. But if you ever get one, hey, if you're going to get one anyway, go through me, go through us, go through the show. Help us out. Next year when we'll still come to you every day, you can say, hey, I played a part in Jay still being able to have programming. Because when I did decide to buy a doll, I went through one of his vendors. So, keep supporting the show. Love you. Thank you. And we appreciate you. That's from me, J. King Hefner, the beautiful Mara Blade, and the beautiful Saima Renee Uzumaki. And you can see Callie's head laying over there. She playing her role. Both of them are playing their role. And me and Saima, we're going to be coming to you guys probably tomorrow, because a lot of you probably see her sitting on that bed and you just think that, oh, yeah, she just sitting there. Okay. We got a nice little show for y'all tomorrow. So with all that said, we love you. appreciate you, and have a great Monday, a great start to your week, guys, and hope you had a great time here today. But we finna get the hell out of here. Let me see if I missed anything. Powerburn said they may have used rape allegations to set him up. A lot of stars get set up to get their money. When I get a dog, I will go through. Thank you, Powerburn. Amen, brother. Amen. I hope all of you do. Sheila Bell says, have a great week, Dog King. You too, Sheila Bell. Thank you for stopping through, Dog King Army team member. All my team members, thanks for stopping through. Thanks for everybody else that dropped a comment. We love you. We appreciate you. Have a great week. God bless you. Stay positive. Keep going forward. Like Reset Sunday said, don't look back. Look forward, baby. Look forward. Look. Hey, thank you, Bob Rogers, for that contribution too, baby. Hey, we surely appreciate you. Every bit counts. Every bit counts. Hey, if y'all missed something, please go back and check out the stream, man. Other than that, God bless. We out of here.